Hello, welcome to another edition of Sci-Fi Journal presented by members of the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. My name is Mark Morriso. Thanks for watching. Also want to introduce the other hosts of the show, Donna Drapeau.
Hi.
And Manny DaCosta.
Hello.
Hello, folks. Welcome. This has been a nice summer so far. A little wet, but it's been okay. All right.
Now that the humidity broke.
Yeah, I know. Thank God.
And none of us are wearing pants behind the screen. That's how hot it was.
Don't go there.
Let's not do this.
We are. Thank you very much.
As promised, a couple of shows ago, we mentioned one of our other hosts, Calvin Watts, is often not able to make the show because he's a trucking guy. He goes on the air, goes on the road often, and we always promised that one day we would have a map showing where's Calvin. Well, today we do have such a map, and we want to show you exactly where Calvin is. So if you want to go to the map, there it is, map of the United States, and that little red dot there shows that Calvin is currently in the Big Easy, New Orleans. Focus, focus, for those of you who are lacking in geography knowledge.
You are here.
I know, and then up there in the right-hand corner, that little blue dot, there's Rhode Island. That's where we are. Everybody wave. Okay.
You are here.
So that's what Calvin is, and as we go along, whenever he's not able to make it for a show, we'll stick that map up and show you folks exactly where Calvin is. So Calvin, we hope you are safe and enjoying your road trip.
We know where you are at all times.
Exactly, because he called the other day and told me, tell the folks I'll be in the Big Easy, so that's where he is. Let's get into sci-fi news, and one of the first things we want to talk about is the top 100 films of all time.
I didn't vote on it.
You didn't vote on it? Well, I guess we talked about this back in April. We'd mentioned that the American Film Institute was going to be releasing a list, excuse me while I hunt for stuff, of the top 100 movies, American movies of all time, and they finally released the list, and we've highlighted some of the science fiction, fantasy, and horror movies that were nominated. And I thought we'd just go over them real quick, we'd do that. It's number 6 was The Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
Number 15 was Star Wars.
Number 22 was 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yep. 18 was Psycho from 1960. 22 was 2001: Space Odyssey. I just said that.
Mm-hmm.
I just said that. 25 was E.T. the Extraterrestrial. 26 was Doctor Strangelove, which is pretty neat. Then I go to 43, King Kong, 1933's King Kong. 46, A Clockwork Orange. 48 was Jaws, 1975. Not the 3D version, thank God. 64 was Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And the only other one I could find was 87, Frankenstein, the 1931 version of Frankenstein.
You also have Fantasia and Raiders of the Lost Ark at 58 and 60.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's a Wonderful Life at 11. That's considered fantasy.
Would you consider that fantasy?
Definitely. Angels, Tom redoing
Well, some people
your
would call
life.
it science fiction.
Yeah, that's true. So what did you think? Did you agree with the list? Were there any movies that did not make your list?
Well, of course, us being science fiction fans, we're not being
Wizard of
represented
Oz
on this
should have
list.
been number 1.
Right.
I don't know. Non-science fiction movie, number 1, Citizen Kane. I think that's so overrated. I really don't think that it's that great of a movie.
Yeah, and nowhere on this list do I see Howard the Duck.
Well, only Manny would vote for Howard the Duck.
Hey, that's one vote.
Yeah.
How about Buckaroo Banzai?
Buckaroo Banzai, yeah, that's kind of strange too. The one film that I thought should have been included was The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh, yeah.
It was on the list. There was a list of 400 movies that these people had to choose from, and that was one of them on the list, but it didn't make it. I thought The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah, but you just had to fit on one more Martin Scorsese film, so that one had to slip.
Yeah, exactly. Personally, I would have gotten rid of Pulp Fiction, but that's a whole different story.
Well, for the genre, I think it's a Hallmark movie. Whether or not you like that type of a genre,
Yeah,
though.
but there weren't a whole lot of Hallmark moments in that movie, but...
No, but if you have a warped sense of humor, which I do and a few other of our friends do, then...
Who are you looking at? Stop
it was
staring
an
at Mary
hysterical
over
movie.
there. Yeah,
I mean, I
all right.
know it wasn't funny spots. If it was real life, it wouldn't have been funny. It's like Fargo. It's hysterical. And Calvin was hitting me the whole time we were watching the movie saying, shut up, shut up, shut up. It's not funny. Cut it out.
But it
and
is.
I was laughing.
Yeah.
I had to see it a second time with somebody who thought
Oh,
it was
no.
funny just like me.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, it's controversial. It remains controversial, and I don't know. I thought my choice to be included would have been The Day the Earth Stood Still. That's the movie I would have thrown in there. I don't know if you have any others that you would have included. Or you're just having a
We weren't
brain
asked to
cramp at
vote.
this second. You know.
My ballot was lost in the mail somewhere.
Was it? Okay. Well, if you put a stamp on those things, it helps.
I keep forgetting that part.
Okay, Manny, take a drink of water, and then if you want to talk about Jurassic Park. Well, somebody said you mentioned something about a Jurassic Park 3.
Yes,
That's coming
apparently
up.
they have started more talks about Jurassic Park 3, as if Lost World Jurassic Park 2 wasn't enough. They haven't given any information about cast or plot, but just the mere fact that they're even considering it is enough for me. I don't think it's a good idea
No.
myself.
I read in the USA Today that they were doing it, and Spielberg will be having nothing to do with it. And usually when they do these Jurassic Park movies, Crichton has done the book already, and he hasn't. So you're wondering if he's going to have anything to do with it either. So I don't know how that's going to be.
Yeah, and
I know the second one, The Lost World, read like a script.
Hmm.
So you know that's what he was planning. This one, anybody's guess.
Yeah, and so no idea about who's going to be writing it or scripting it or anything.
But again, just the fact they're even considering it is bad news enough.
Maybe it's the same guys who wrote Howard the Duck.
Hey, come on, that was a Lucasfilm. That was okay.
Oh no, don't get me started.
Just wait till it comes out on DVD, then the sales will go up.
Maybe we should do a list of the 100 top science fiction fantasy movies that you should not be watching. We should do that sometime.
Yeah, that would be
a lot of
fun.
We'll do that. We'll do that one day. Okay, there is a new Buffy the Vampire Slayer spin-off series that's going to be premiering in the fall of next year, starring Angel. Should be interesting, I guess.
Angel in Hell, that sounds like a
Angel.
nice
I
one.
guess he comes back from hell. in
He
the
got
fall.
better.
He got better, and he's going to be having his own spin-off. He moved to Los Angeles.
So
LA
it'll fit
is
right in.
hell,
LA is hell.
Everybody knows that.
Pretty interesting. Los Angeles and Angel. Anyways, never mind.
Oh,
okay.
they probably will play that out.
They probably will play it up, I suppose. Okay. What else we got? Movie reviews. There have been a lot of good and not so good movies over the summer that we've seen. A lot of us have seen them, and we'd like to review some of those now. Let's talk about Armageddon first. Who's seen Armageddon? Yay! What'd you think, Donna?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought the characters were all very well developed. Well, the important ones were, at least. And I thought it was a lot of fun. I left there thinking, wow, this is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Yep, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was good. It was.
I'm out of this conversation. I didn't see
It
that.
was different. It was different than Deep Impact, another asteroid disaster type flick. I think Deep Impact was more. I was telling my wife, it's more of a chick flick because it concentrates on the the relationships and such. And this had more action and adventure and things blowing up and cool spaceships and suits and
Cool asteroid scenes.
asteroid scenes. Yeah, even the asteroid looked evil.
Yeah, they were really, really very cool looking. I thought it was great.
Mary's
Mary's in hysterics because she hated this
She
movie.
hated this movie. She thought it was the worst piece of trash. So one vote no for Mary. And there was...
You have to realize when you see these kind of movies, there's two different types of sciences in this world. There is Hollywood science and there is real science.
Right.
And real science never makes a good Hollywood movie.
Right.
It's just, you'd never see an explosion in space in a real science movie because there's no air. Flames can't live.
That's why 2001 is 4 hours long.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it was boring. So
Sorry.
I really didn't like that movie. I thought it was tedious.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's Hollywood science, and as long as you realize it's not real, you're going to see things that are just totally impossible, and just go with it, enjoy the movie, and you have fun.
Yeah, but that's why you see movies like that in the summer, is to have fun. There's suspension of disbelief, and the
air conditioning helps.
And
too.
the air conditioning helps too, and the $5 for 2 kernels of popcorn. But but that's why you go to the movies during the summer, to have fun, to
You
kick
can
back and relax and watch things blow up and enjoy yourself.
You have to face reality every day in life. Why do you have to face it in the cinema too?
Why?
Yeah, but I do have a kind of a challenge to the person who wrote the review for the Providence Journal, and we all know who he is.
Oh, he always
And
trashes.
he always trashes this movie.
Good movies.
Yeah, if he's watching the show or somebody knows this guy or has contact or whatever, before you review another science fiction, fantasy, or horror movie, contact us at the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club, and we'll go to the movies with you. And then afterwards, we'll have coffee, a little biscotti, you know, we'll have some fun, and we'll
Pistol
talk
whip
about
'em.
exactly. We'll talk about exactly why this movie was bad and not so bad, but do it with people who appreciate and know the genre,
Well,
so we can
somebody told
have
me
a decent movie review.
that he didn't see the whole movie. He walked out after about 15 minutes.
Right.
So you're judging the movie on just the first few minutes. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but
Mary's saying, well, I was going to walk out of the movie too.
it's also Hollywood can't save the world in 2 hours anymore.
Right.
This movie is almost 3 hours long. It's like 2 and
2.5 hours. Yeah, 2 and 3
2 and
quarters.
40 minutes, something like that.
So if they're making the movies longer, does that mean you're getting more for your $7.50?
You might, yeah.
It depends on your point of view. Mary doesn't think so.
No. All right, let's go. Let's kind of get away from asteroids for a while and talk about the X-Files movie. Who had a
I
chance
saw
to
that.
see? You saw the X-Files movie. You didn't see the
Again, I'm out of it.
Okay, what the hell are you doing here anyways?
Also, the reason I stayed out of it partly is because they've released the information. They're releasing the X-Files on video the week of September 1st or
the movie
October
you're speaking
1st.
about.
Yes, the
Okay.
movie, the same week that the new season starts. And also, they're releasing it with 4 new minutes of footage, 4 to 10 minutes of new footage.
Okay.
So why should I bother go seeing it for $7.50 when I can go rent it for $4?
Oh, so you're just being cheap, is that the
Yes,
idea?
basically.
Okay. All right.
But I'm honest about
But
it.
you're honestly cheap. That's the idea. All right, well, that's good. Yeah.
Seeing a movie in a theater, though, is a different experience than seeing it on your
Well,
TV.
maybe I'm one of the people who, if you see it for free on TV, it has to be really good to go see it in a theater. Plus, second run.
Depends on the movies. I mean, there are some movies that have been released, sci-fi, fantasy, horror movies, and you see the previews and you think, you know, I'll wait for the video.
Like Armageddon, that's a
Well-
big movie. You have to see that on a big screen. Whereas
Yeah.
X-Files, I've seen that on TV. So I'm not in a big rush. Plus, I'm not as big an X-Files fan as everyone else in the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah,
If
but
it's something with a lot of effects and a CinemaScope type deal, yeah, you need to see it on the big screen. But if it's the typical chick flick, then yeah, you don't probably need to see it because it's
yeah.
gonna look like a soap opera
X-Files
on your TV anyway.
X-Files was interesting though because X-Files, I think
Having a
most
good time over there.
most X-Files fans who went to see the film, they went to the theaters because they wanted to see X-Files on the big screen. They wanted to see what it would look like on the big screen with a bigger budget and more effects. So that was interesting. But the movie industry relies on a lot of repeat moviegoers. They see the movie like 2 or 3 times for their sales. This didn't happen with X-Files. Most X-Files fans went to see it once. They saw it, they figured, all right, this is good, but the TV series is coming back in the fall, so why go back and see it again? They'll probably rent it like you are in October. But it didn't, sales-wise, it didn't do as well as they had expected it to. But it was still a very good film. I liked the plot. I liked the effects. It didn't answer all of the questions that were asked in the TV series, which was good. I'm glad it just didn't tie up all the loose knots. It left a lot of open-ended questions. Did I say that right? I guess I did. Okay.
But in my opinion, it wasn't a real movie. Not a Hollywood. It was just a really incredible episode of X-Files.
Yeah, it was like a really great X-Files episode.
So it's not
It
like
had
Star
no
Trek going to the
commercial
big
breaks.
screen.
Not in my opinion, no. It was another episode. They didn't make it any much more grander than the everyday episode.
Which is good because X-Files has always had a very laid-back, subdued feel to it. So it was a good X-Files movie.
There's the beginning scene with the young boys playing out in the desert. They had the young boy, I can't remember what his name was, who played Caleb
Yes, I
from
noticed that.
American Gothic.
Yep.
The kid is an incredible actor. I wish he could have been in more and gotten more work, but he's great.
But he got eaten by some black ooze, so rules that out.
You just spoiled
right
the
away.
fun for Manny.
Oh, sorry about that. Damn it.
I worded it carefully.
That's all I said. Sorry.
See, I probably will go see it, but I feel there are other movies like Armageddon. I'd like to go see that.
Right.
But X-Files isn't high on my priority list right now.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And,
Hey, Mary.
what was good about the X-Files?
I'm sorry,
though,
Mary.
is
I'd like to go
haven't-
see it.
I haven't been watching X-Files mostly this season, and they give enough that you didn't need to see the season ender or a lot of the episodes this year. They clued you in enough, and I recognized a lot of the little points from a lot of the different episodes. So
Yeah, it was good. Little
Yeah.
snippets. All right, who's seen Small Soldiers? That
I
was
did,
just
I
released.
did.
I haven't seen that one.
forget Manny. He's
Manny hasn't seen that one either?
No.
Oh, that's
I work
okay.
for a living.
That's good. Okay, Don, you want to talk about Small Soldiers? There's been a lot of controversy about that recently.
Yeah, it's not a movie for young children. I did end up taking my 9 and 13-year-old nephews. They're old enough. If the child is, I don't know, impressionable, maybe is a good word. The soldiers are not the good guys. And if your kid is going to feel, have nightmares because his toys might come alive and start attacking him, then you're not going to want to take them to see this movie.
No.
So that's why I won't go see it, because I've got a 6-year-old who'll probably think like,
You can't see it by yourself?
no, I'm not interested in
He's
seeing it by
afraid.
myself. I'm all alone.
He doesn't want to have nightmares.
It's a really good movie, though.
I remember
enjoyed it.
Chucky when he attacked me in my sleep back in the 80s.
It had its low points, but for the most part, it was fun. My nephews enjoyed it a lot more than I did, but it was the characters, the main characters, the Chip Hazard and Archer were
Soldier
were
Elite,
good.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or
Chip,
Battle Elite or something like that.
something like that. I forget.
I remember the name, like the Gorgonoids or whatever
Yeah.
the bad,
That
the
was
quote
Archer.
bad guys
That
were.
was Archer. Yeah, the monsters, which the monsters are the good guys, and they were really cute.
Right.
See, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I know all this by the toys that are in the stores
Yeah,
already.
exactly. We have a couple of them here too that we'll show off later. So that was kind of like a real, if you're an adult, you might enjoy the movie because it's kind of sick. but if you're an impressionable kid,
it's very
watch out.
twisted. It's G.I. Joe and Barbie on acid.
Okay.
The way they were meant to be.
And we were also saying it's kind of a shame that it was Phil Hartman's last movie. too.
What a way
Yeah.
to go.
He deserves better.
There's one scene in there where the soldiers are trying to psych out the people in the house, and just they ended up putting up a stereo system and blasting Spice Girls. It's like, no, the pain.
Oh, the humanity.
That'll kill anybody. All right. Any other upcoming movies that we want to touch base? Go
I
ahead.
did get to see Zorro, and since that doesn't involve like sort of like Old West superhero, I think we can talk about that
Please
here.
do.
I see we have a fan behind the camera. 3? Yes. Zorro, I think, was a very good movie.
Okay.
2.5 hours long, and it didn't feel that long at all. That to me, I think, is a good movie when the roller coaster ride carries you along. Very enjoyable. Antonio Banderas, from what I was told, is the first Hispanic to play Zorro, which is amazing because he wasn't created by Hispanic. He was created by a American writer named Johnson Macaulay. And very good movie. The production values, the money, you see it on the screen. Martin Campbell, who directed GoldenEye 2 years ago, the James Bond movie, very good action director. The sword fights were very good. My personal favorite sword fight in films was the one in The Princess Bride, which I think, to me, in my opinion anyway, is the benchmark for sword fights, and this blew that away. Very good movie. Anthony Hopkins as the sort of senior Zorro, the original one, very good. You don't see him in a lot of quote action movies, and he played a role very well. And I would suggest this movie, chick flick or action movie, any way you want to see it. It's a very good movie and well worth the money.
Banderas can act?
Actually, yes, he can act, he can dance, he can sword fight.
Really?
It was a very enjoyable movie.
Good.
And also, we can segue into the comic segment for a second. I would like to point out that back in '94, Topps Comics, which is better known for cards and things like that, published a Zorro comic book. If we can get a close-up right here, trying to get the glare out. It went for 1 year back in '94, and they stopped production of the book because Spielberg was starting production on, we'll get another cover here. He started production on Mask of Zorro. And I think it was well worth it. Image is going to be publishing a new Zorro book based on the movie.
Good.
And they're going to be starting with a reprint of the 2-issue miniseries from Topps Dracula vs. Zorro, because back then they had the rights to Dracula and they teamed him up.
Okay.
And they'll be reprinting it as a 2-issue miniseries later this year, as well as an adaptation of the movie. And I think that's good because Zorro has never really been well represented in comic books except for this run of stories. And you can find them in most comic book stores. Unfortunately, they're in the quarter bin, which doesn't really represent their quality. But I think it'd be worth checking out. And it goes along well with the movie.
So you think... I'm sorry.
I would recommend this movie very much.
I was going to ask, do you think sales of the comic will pick up now that the movie's been out?
It might. It's hard to tell. Topps also publishes an X-File comic, and sales on that have never really been good, despite the popularity of the series. Of course, their Hercules and Xena books seem to do very well, so it depends. It might not.
Right. Yeah, good. What else is coming up in August is Blade with Wesley Snipes.
That looks incredible.
That looks really good.
And you might like that. If I remember correctly, you liked Dark City.
Yeah.
A couple months ago. It's written by the same guy, so David Goyer. So if you like what he did in Dark City, you probably like what he does in Blade. I've heard a lot of good things about what he does as far as vampires.
The latest trailer that was out with Armageddon had really cool city scenes, very dark and
semi-futuristic,
moody setting. And I was thinking, ooh, this looks cool. And it was even before you realized that it was Blade.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Manny, can you set it up? Tell the audience a little bit about who Blade is.
Blade is a man who was born half man, half vampire. His mother, while he was conceived, was bitten by a vampire. So he was like that from virtually day one. And in the movie, something they didn't do in the comic book, he's called Daywalker. He can work in day or at night.
Okay.
And his friend, this is a character created for the movie, Whistler, played by Chris Christopherson, is his weapons master, who comes up with all the funky stuff you see in the trailers. And in the comics, they're bringing him back in the comic books to cash in on the movie. One thing they did do, because they're going for a darker feel, this is like the first Marvel comic movie to get an R rating. They're going for that feel. So it looks good on the trailer. I hope they haven't shown all the good scenes in the trailer, but it does look good. And
I've noticed they're keeping the Marvel name pretty much out of it, and unless you know Stan Lee, who was one of the executive producers, you'd never know that this was a Marvel
which is probably a good
comic
sign.
book. Yeah, because they have very bad luck with their movies, so I think that, hopefully
they didn't want it to go straight to video like
sign.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so good. So Blade will be a good movie to see.
It should be.
Probably be a trip for the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club too. Go see Blade.
Cool. I'll
we see a lot of movies. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's talk about television a little bit. The only real TV that we need to speak about, a couple of things, but first we want to talk about the season ending of Deep Space Nine, Tears of the Prophets. And
I cried.
And the other science fiction related cable TV shows have already touched base upon this, and some of them are more upset about the way it ended than others, but that's okay. As you know, the character Jadzia Dax has been knocked off in this particular episode because Terry Farrell didn't want to negotiate for another year, which was kind of sad because she only had 1 year left to go before the series ended. But anyway, she was out, and rather than just write off her character or get her lost in the Gamma Quadrant, they decided to kill her off altogether. And so what we'd like to do is we'd like to show that clip, that particular scene where Jadzia says goodbye.
Relive the pain.
Relive the pain. Get lots of hankies, because here it comes. And if that clip is ready, let's roll that clip, and we'll talk about it after.
I'm not sure if I'm doing this correctly. I don't come here a lot. And to be perfectly honest, I feel more comfortable thinking of you as wormhole aliens, but Kira believes you're much more than that. Maybe she's right. I don't know. But if you are prophets and you're listening, I just want to say, Captain?
I'm not sure. I think I felt the prophets reaching out to me. Something's wrong.
Sir, I found it. There's a subspace power generator on a small moon orbiting the far planet. It's transmitting energy to the weapon platforms. Captain?
Take us there, Mr. Nog.
Aye, sir.
Get him back to his quarters. Don't worry, Captain. We'll get the job done.
I know this is small comfort, but I never intended you any harm.
All right, so that was Tears of the Prophets, Deep Space Nine, the season ending episode. What'd you folks think about this? I was kind of disappointed that she left the show. I was.
I think they killed the wrong character myself.
Who'd you think they should have knocked off?
Kill the one-note Bajoran character. I mean, they killed Tasha Yar, and the only difference between them is the crinkle-cut nose.
Yeah. Yeah, so you thought...
Like a poor marksman, they kept missing the target.
Oh, no.
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. I channeled.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, I was disappointed that this particular character, she's been on the show since the beginning. It would have been nice to keep her on for at least one more season to see her through, but I guess not. I mean, you have some more information on who's going to be replacing.
Yes, they have cast the new Dax. Contrary to some rumors, it's not Adrienne Barbeau. I don't know how her name came up.
Yeah, that came up on another Sci-Fi show, and it's totally wrong.
Yes, the new Dax is going to be played by Nicole Dubois. I think I pronounced that name right.
A French woman.
Oh, I knew that'd make you happy.
Oui.
She is probably best known to most of you out there as playing Yuna on the Sci-Fi Channel series Mission Genesis.
Yep, which lasted like 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
But forever in reruns.
Right.
And she'll be playing a new host for Dax. Her name will be Esri Dax, which is a lot less normal than Jadzia.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel sorry for her because don't take that the wrong way. She's a lame duck character. In 1 year, how can she develop any kind of characteristics to distinguish her from Jadzia?
Yep. I feel bad for her because of her name. To think of all the jokes, you know, is we here yet? Is we gonna do this?
You worked that out before you came here, didn't you?
I did. I'm sorry. Had to.
I think they missed an opportunity here because I think this is the first time in Star Trek since they introduced the Trill where they didn't switch gender on the host. And maybe that's just because they assume that their fans are not going to recognize the character.
Yeah, they did in a Next Generation episode when they first introduced that race.
But isn't it just a coincidence that, I mean, whoever's available, they send, and it doesn't always have to be switching the gender?
True. Yeah, it's like if this was an emergency situation, so whoever was closest to DS9.
Need another Timmy, you know?
Time for another Timmy.
Timmy Dax. Yeah.
Time for another Dax.
No, actually, I think it would have been interesting as far as the dynamics are concerned because, say if they sent like a male, like similar in age to like Jake, how would that affect Cisco?
Right.
Talking to the old man who's now as old as his son.
Yep.
I think it would just been interesting as far as the character dynamics for the last season.
And I wonder what the relationship between this particular Dax and Worf is going to be like.
It probably won't be a happy
They'll
one.
probably touch base on that too. They'll have a couple episodes where he has to adjust and
the marriage
so forth.
with Worf, was it to Jadzia or was it to Dax?
Yeah, we mentioned that last episode. We were
It would
wondering
be to
about that.
Jadzia, I would
It would
think.
be Jadzia.
So she's no longer there, so he's now a widower.
But Dax, the Trill, the creature or whatever, still has all the thoughts and emotions and all the knowledge about their relationship with Worf.
Well,
Now, what I'm curious about is, in sense of the characters, who is this more tragic for? Worf, who's like lost a mate for the second time,
Right.
or Cisco, who's lost like another friend around the Dax?
but the friend to Cisco is
Separate
Dax.
people?
So it's still the same, it's still old man.
Right, and
The
I'm
way
sure
I
they'll touch
see it,
base.
yeah.
They'll touch base on
Because
that.
they point to Worf.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll look forward to seeing what happens for DS9 for the last season. I think it begins in September or October, probably. It picks up again. Did you want to mention Third Space, Babylon 5?
Of course I'd want to mention
Go right
Third
ahead, Manny.
Space.
Please do.
I thought this was a very, very good episode of Babylon 5. I almost said DS9. I can't believe I did that. But very good. I think this answered your complaint about the lack of special effects in this season. I think it had a lot of good special effects.
Yeah.
As far as like the battle scenes and the new aliens, which I don't think they ever really gave a name to. Sort of like, I guess you could call them hyperspace aliens. For anybody who hasn't seen it, the crew of Babylon 5 finds an artifact in hyperspace and brings it back to the station. And when they do, the mental states of virtually everyone on the station is affected violently. And come to find out, this is like the opening salvo of an alien race that was put in hyperspace by the Vorlons.
Right.
Somebody that made the Vorlons afraid. And I thought it was very good. Of course, the humans have to clean up after the Vorlons, as they've been doing ever since the series began. And thank you. And and I think it was very good. For me, it just proved that the show needs Ivanova. I thought she added a lot to the episode.
Right.
And as much as I like Tracy Scoggins as Lockley, the show needs Ivanova. Ivanova should have gotten command of the station after Sheridan was elevated to president.
Yeah. They should have managed to work out whatever contract problems there were.
Let her go
with
do the movie and
because,
miss a couple
she's
episodes.
Incredible, and
A very good fight scene between her and Sherry Belafonte.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
Cat
scene.
fight.
But yeah,
And
good. It was a nice filler movie for
Yes, it was.
Babylon 5.
And I'm also looking forward to the next movie they've announced, River of Souls, which will feature Martin Sheen as a soul hunter. That's going to be the whole point. It's going to be the setup for the Babylon 5 spin-off Crusade. And that also looks very good. They, as good as the series looks, when they put the money behind it for the movies, it looks even better.
Yeah. It was well done. And if you get a chance, pick up the novelization of Third Space. I had a chance to flip through it a little bit, and it's really well done.
Yeah.
It's well good.
One nice touch I thought was the fact that the artifact was so big in hyperspace they had to extend the struts of the hypergates in order to get it out. I never realized they could do that until they showed it, but it made it a little more realistic.
Yep, and the only part I thought was kind of a rip-off was the scene where Sheridan is in a suit and a jetpack and he goes into the artifact itself. It kind of reminded me of Star Trek The Motion Picture when Spock kind of flies into V'ger.
Oh, and very realistic. I would always put on a suit and fly through a major firefight.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, with laser beams flying by you and so forth. Okay.
That was like one false point, but it worked overall. You're able to ignore that over the course of 2 hours.
It was fun. It was better than Armageddon. Okay, Mary. All right, let's touch base real quick on Invasion America, the miniseries that was produced over the summer on WB. Manny didn't like it all that much.
No, I thought it had potential, but it missed the mark. I wasn't really impressed. I didn't feel anything for the characters and felt no need to care about what they were doing. The computer animations were fine for the spaceship shots, but I'm a Babylon 5 fan. I've seen far better.
Right.
So
I stopped watching it.
You stopped watching it?
Yeah, doesn't save much for the show.
Yeah, I didn't see the first episode. I watched the rest of it. I just wanted to see what it was like, and I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it. Moved along.
It could have
pretty
been
well.
better, though.
I think they're negotiating. Harv Bennett produced it, so he's done a lot of the Star Trek stuff and time tracks and so forth.
yeah, but
So-
we discussed this before. The one thing I didn't like about it was the fact they advertised this as the first animated drama for
Right.
TV. And I don't have the exact date, but back in the 60s, Johnny Quest, if you're going to call science fiction drama, was the first animated series on primetime TV.
Did they announce it as first serious animated or just the first animated series?
First animated series.
Because I always thought
first animated drama.
series. Because I thought the first one was the Flintstones. Yeah, the Flintstones back in the 60s was the first animated.
And that's how Johnny
regular
Quest got
series.
put in.
Didn't
they figured there was a
also
market.
have the miniseries from Heinlein's Red Mars?
That was Saturday morning.
That
on
was a
Fox.
Saturday morning type thing. That wasn't a prime time show. Okay, well, enough about Invasion America. Let's go to a round table discussion, and every month we touch base on one particular question and talk about it in. I'm losing my mind here. We talk about these things. All right, round table discussion. The question is, why does science fiction often get a bad reputation, or what gives science fiction a bad name? What is it about sci-fi? Some people you'll be in conversation with someone, oh, I enjoy science fiction, and they look at you like you have 3 heads, or you're a geekazoid or something like that. And
I think that part of the problem is people associate science fiction only with the creature double feature movies, It Came from Outer Space, or Godzilla, and things like, or Star Trek alone. And they don't realize, I have a lot of people that say, oh, I don't like science fiction. And you ask them what kind of movies they like and stuff, and they say Jurassic Park all the time. And it's like, duh, that's science fiction.
Science fiction, right.
So is Star Wars and things like that. They just don't seem to understand what science, they just think it's the more skiffy type things, That's part of the problem, I think.
Yeah, Manny, what do you think?
What I think gives science fiction a bad name is like the obligatory licensing. The fact that like serious movies, you don't have the ancillary deals with Burger King or McDonald's, and also the stupid toy lines they add on to movies just to make a buck on the licensing if the movie doesn't do too good. Batman and Robin, for example, they had the extraneous ice hammer at the end just to sell another toy at Toys R Us. And Small Soldiers, the deals with Burger King and whatnot where you can get like it with your Happy Meal. Serious movies don't do that. You don't see like a licensing deal for Remains of the Day or something like that, just for example. Or would you take in Godfather as seriously if you had the Sonny Corleone figure where you hold it in warm water and the blood squibs show up when you... Would you take it
You mean you didn't have the little toy with a dead horse head in your bed? I thought everybody had
the Don
that.
Corleone figure with Kiss of Death
I missed that one. Gotta go back to my toy store and pick that one up.
If you have it in the box still, it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, and like you mentioned, that's part of the problem too, is that a lot of science fiction, most people think is geared towards children.
Yeah.
To sell toys and books and all these other things, and some real serious science fiction unfortunately gets passed over. Babylon 5 is a good example. A lot of toys and stuff in Babylon 5, but it's good serious science fiction. Some
they can't see past the toys.
Yeah, some of it, but not all of it. Star Trek is good too.
In this city, East Providence, I remember when I was frequenting the Rumford Public Library, 90% of all the science fiction was in the young adult section.
Always a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, to my estimates, was not geared towards the young adults, but all the paperbacks were there. Hopefully they've changed that, because there's a lot of science fiction, it really isn't young adult, and it's kind of demoralizing to have to go back there to the young adult section to find your books. I mean, it's not what I would consider, proper.
And also, there seems to be too much of a wide gap between those folks who are interested in so-called serious science fiction, who focus mostly on books and novels and stories and so forth, and the people who are interested in the media type science fiction. And the two groups tend to be really opposed to each other. It's like, all right, well, if you like Trek, for example, you really can't like Heinlein or anything like that. Or if you're really into Asimov, then you're really not good enough to be interested also in Babylon 5 or whatever. So there's for lack of a better word, there's some prejudice
also,
involved.
Prejudice towards the role-playing games too. Those type of media access parts. It's we're all one big happy family. You can like Shadowrun, you can like Heinlein, you can like Star Trek.
Thank you for mentioning Shadowrun. Okay. Right.
It's true. I mean, it's not that big of a difference.
Yeah, there's room for
Can't
everybody.
we all just get along?
Can we all just take off that propeller ad, will you? All right, but yeah, you're right. Okay, so science fiction doesn't deserve a bad reputation. If you enjoy science fiction, there's a lot of different types of science fiction. There's something for everybody. And
Michael Crichton gets a lot of respect in the genre he's mainstreamed. But he is science fiction. People don't realize it.
Right, and science fiction has always been popular in the media, so get over it. Okay. All right, MTV has premiered a new series called Super Adventure Team. It's on Thursday nights at 10:30 which is really good because it's not really meant for children. We talked about it last month. It's like Star Trek on strings, but the particular characters in this show are really sick. These are demented folks. It's kind of funny. It's like a takeoff on Thunderbirds. It's like an action rescue team, and in this particular, the opening episode, the Air Force One has crash landed near a volcano that's about to go active, and the Super Adventure team is supposed to go rescue them, but they keep arguing among themselves and having intermarital affairs, and it's really bizarre stuff. We have a clip that lasts for about a couple of minutes from the first show, so if you want to run that clip and you can talk about it afterwards, you'll see.
There it is. Just a few more seconds. Time for someone to go and save the president. And that someone's name is me. Screw you, Buck Murdoch. Here I go, busting my hump while Murdoch's somewhere eating ice cream. Oh, this suit is giving me a wedgie so deep my throat hurts. I have no time to waste. Save the president and all that. Oh, wow, they got some nice furniture in here. Well, tax dollars at work, I guess. All right, time for me to save the day once again. Well, mission accomplished. Oh, boy, Sandy Duncan, she was a hot one, I tell you. She got me going. Nothing to the wham of Sam, though.
Landon, I must have fainted. Look, about the takeoff, I know you're upset.
Damn it, man, out of my way! We got to get out of here. This thing's gonna blow. Mr. President? Mr. President!
Murdoch, saved the day again, have you? I knew I could count on you. I'll never, ever forget this. Our country owes you, Buck Murdoch, a great debt of thanks. Now, please excuse me. I'd like to pass out. By the way, Criswell, bold choice with the dress.
It's a Benvenuto.
Nice job, West. See you back at HQ. But Buck wasn't even. It was me. No, not again. No.
Here we go. What a sick show. No, it's funny. You should catch an episode. Like I said, it's on Thursday nights at 10:30 on MTV. It's definitely not for children. It's got, if you have a real sick sense of humor, you'll enjoy this show. I want to welcome somebody who just springed onto the set, Jay Kingston. Everybody say hi, Jay.
Hi,
Jay.
How are you? Thank God you can't see his legs. That's all I have to say. All right. Oh, Jay Kingston, usually a regular on the show, but
Taking a little
Lately
summer
been
off.
irregular.
He's been irregular on the show, and does it
Something I ate at a meeting before.
Oh, geez. Okay, what are we going to do now? We have to do Essential
We missed it.
Sci-Fi? Yeah, we do.
All right.
Let's do Essential
Getting all
Sci-Fi
misty,
Library.
so.
Ornaments. If you have been watching television, you might have noticed that Hallmark has been releasing some Christmas ornaments a little bit early this year, like in July. And some of them include Star Wars ornaments. I don't know if I can hold this up just to get a look of what we have. They've just released ornaments based on Boba Fett and an X-Wing fighter, some little Ewoks up there in the corner, and Princess Leia. They also have two ornaments based on Star Trek. Let me flip the page here. Stay right where you are. There we go. Here we go. One on Captain Janeway and the Enterprise E from First Contact. Those are in the stores now, so if you want to get an early Christmas shopping done for your science fiction fan, are you listening to this, honey? Okay. You can go to the store and
They
pick
also
those up.
have, which is what I always collect and I really enjoy, are the NASA figures. In the past, they had the Friendship 7 Mercury rocket, and the Man on the Moon, the One Small Step for Man. And this year, it's the Lunar Module. They do really nice work with them. They're definitely worth taking a look at.
Now, on a cynical note, are they going to rush into production the Memorial Alan Shepard figure now, or?
I don't think
I don't
so.
think so.
That's
Unfortunately, he
not
passed away this
Hallmark's,
week.
Yeah, it might be too late to do that. Well, no, although I imagine
Style.
next year.
I think that
they'll do
deserves mentioning, though. So
They'll do something like that. That'd be good. Or they could do the John Glenn geriatric figure. They could do that too. But
Hey,
that might work out.
Not go there.
No, let's not go there. Okay. Yeah. It comes with a
Sick man.
it comes with a cane and some other things. Little false teeth you can take out and stuff. Okay. Anything else for Essential Sci-Fi Library that you wanted to talk
I didn't
about?
know we had discussed anything yet.
Yeah, we were going to bring it up. We started talking about this and some other things.
So this month, Essential Sci-Fi Library is a catalog.
It's a catalog. Yeah. What was there anything else? Actually, if you want, we can pick up a copy of a magazine called Fine Scale Modeler, if you want to take a look at that. This is a really great magazine if you're into hobby of model making. There's a cover of the Titanic that they made for the actual movie, but there's a good article in here on how to redo the model kit of AMT Ertl's Reliant figure from Star Trek II, which is pretty good if I could find it. I can show it to you here. Oh, here we go. It's over here.
Preparation.
There it is. Some guy redid the Reliant. He added a whole bunch of neat stuff to it. So that's worth picking up. It comes out 10 months a year, Fine Scale Model. It's a lot of fun. And they have advertisements for a lot of science fiction, fantasy, horror models, resin kits, and
Did you
so
go over
forth.
this?
Yeah, we did.
You did.
Did you want to have a comment?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that they didn't put Forbidden Planet.
Oh, yeah, good job. Yeah. I said the day the Earth stood still should have been included.
And
Yes.
this just in, we found Frankenstein. It's at number 87.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few in there that When Worlds Collide was pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of the old George Pal movies, I thought, you know.
Should have made it.
I think so.
Okay.
That's why they didn't ask us to vote.
As far as why science fiction gets a bad name, those of you who have been to a convention probably know why it gets a bad name.
Oh, yeah.
Those of you who have been to conventions know where the term the Great Unwashed originated from.
Comes from.
Thanks, Jay. We were blocking that until you reminded us of
You
them.
ask the question, I'm the one who gives those hard answers. I'm the hard copy version, okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
The Jerry Springer version.
Maury Povich, you've changed.
Anytime you walk into a party and someone says, is this the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club? And you say yes, and the guy whips out a beanie and puts it on his head.
Yep.
That's an indicator, you know?
A subtle hint.
You know you're a science fiction geek if you go to the same convention year after year in the same outfit and the same saddle shoes and your name is... I'm not going to say what his name
Yeah,
is.
please don't.
But people tell him to shut up every time they see him.
But his initials are AA.
And he's been kicked out of our program. Anyway, I think the reason the science fiction gets such a bad name is because people are afraid of it. Any literature that's able to accurately predict the future to the degree that science fiction has is a scary thing. Science fiction was one of the first mediums to come up with the idea that sports would turn into personal combat, deathmatch type things, and now we see the tough man contests taking place, and science fiction was one of the first things to talk about an ultimate disease that would come along and wipe out mankind, and now we're living in the era of AIDS and the Ebola virus, and who knows what else is going to be lurking around the corner. So science fiction has always been something that tackles a lot of provocative issues. It's something that brings up a lot of issues that people don't care to deal with. And when you hold up those taboos for public inspection, I think you're going to get a lot of people nervous, and you're going to start having people point fingers at you like you're some kind of doomsayer or things along that line. So I think that's one of the reasons why science fiction gets such a bad name. People are afraid of what they don't understand and what they don't like to have the things that they're afraid of brought to the forefront and held up for public examination. And unfortunately, science fiction is not all just rocket ships and robots. It's a lot of thought-provoking issues. It's issues of the future. People don't want to deal with that. They'd rather deal with their homogenous romance novels where everybody looks like Fabio and Lonnie Anderson, and they all hop from bed to bed. Yeah, they're big money because there's a lot of people out there who have boring, dull lives and don't know how to escape from it, so they escape in a book with...
Let's alienate...
Am I telling the truth or not? You know,
that explains Titanic and Celine Dion, and I'm sorry, honey, I'll be home in a few minutes, please forgive me.
I'm sorry, but I mean, if you're married to a guy that looks like Don Knotts, you're going to want a guy that looks like Fabio to sweep you off your feet and take you away. That's why
But if the guy looks like Don Knotts but has the heart and soul, hey, Fabio, of, say, I don't know, somebody else.
And he says, I can't believe it's not butter.
Oh,
Is that what you...
I think he's horrible. I really do. I don't see anything.
Yeah, but you're a science fiction fan. You're not a romance novel.
You're the wrong demographic, Donna.
Right. I'm not speaking to your type.
Just knock it off. That's all.
My type. I used to read romance back in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, been there, done that. I've gotten a life.
So.
Don't kill me, Laurie.
Well, Mark's wife Debbie is heavily into romance novels too.
I wasn't going to say anything.
No, but
I'm keeping my mouth shut.
It's all right. She can't hit me until she sees me. So.
See, honey, put your fist up to the screen right here.
So, you know, this is the whole thing. I mean, science fiction speaks to a certain kind of person.
It's more thinking.
It's more thought-provoking. It's more thoughtful.
It asks the what if.
Right. It asks the what if. It asks you to speculate on a myriad of opportunistic futures. And unfortunately, I think a lot of what people see is the media stereotypes that are put in the forefront. The little guy who works in the basement, you know, two floors below the street level, works on a computer 9 hours a day with a little Band-Aid in the middle of his black rimmed glasses. You know, that's the kind of stereotype that television perpetuates, which is not the truth at all. There are a lot of people. I know a couple of lawyers who are very heavily into science fiction who love it. And you know, while we might not want a lot of science fiction, you know, people give science fiction a bad name, you know, just like there are bad lawyer jokes and stuff. And these guys are very scrupulous lawyers.
They're the first ones to tell them, though, too.
Yeah,
they have a sense of humor.
Yeah. So.
All right.
That's it.
Enough of that. Okay, that was
Invasion
good.
America did not stink. You don't know what you're talking about. So.
I was thinking while you were reviewing that, Jay liked this particular series.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I liked it.
He's the one.
But we're running out of time.
What'd you think about Armageddon?
Oh, come on, the audience. You like us. You listen to us, right?
What'd you think about Armageddon?
We cut a few minutes into Daphne's show.
Armageddon.
Armageddon. What did I think of Armageddon? Oh, just kidding, Daphne. Don't get upset.
Sit down and put the phone down.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's Daphne. No, I'm sorry. What did I think of Armageddon? It wasn't bad. It was predictable, yes, but it was. I'm a sucker for the heroic movies where the guy takes himself out to save the planet, you know. And fine, you know. Bob. I had a conversation with Bob Eggleton, and he said that there were two guys that he knew from one of the local universities who sat there and told him, well, this actually would not work with the calculations that I've made. Get a life, please. You know, it was a movie. It's just a movie. Get over it.
Hollywood science.
Yeah, it's Hollywood science. I mean, you got starships going through space going whoosh.
Yeah.
If you're outside listening in space, you're not going to hear anything.
A vacuum.
You know, it's a vacuum. So,
Jay, it's
my ranting is Mike saying something?
I was going to say,
I'm back. I'm ranting, okay? Get over it.
He's been holding it in for 3 months now.
I know.
3 months. I've been off the show. I'm at college. Let me rant.
Okay, let's very quickly go to toys, props,
Too late
and other
for that.
things, okay? We'll do that. If the camera wants to pick out something, we'll talk about it before we run out of time.
Sure. Hey, we got a car. We got a robot. We got a little beastie. We got this little dude. I don't know where he's from. We got some kind of a dragon that looks really cool.
Too bad it's not what's on camera.
We got a Tolkien book. This is great. We got. You keeping up with me, Mike? We got Babylon 5. We got a comic page. We got some. Hang on. This is great. I can do this because I'm not on mic. We got Calvin, where are you? Okay, we got that. We got Moon shadows. Have you got? Can you focus? Look, stay with me. Moon shadows. It's. Oh, and she's naked. And we've got to soap this.
That's okay. We're on past one.
Bubble thing. And this. And I'll get back behind you.
Thank you.
Here we go.
The fairy was Bliss, the bubble fairy.
Was it? Okay.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me for a minute. So
Where are we? All right, here we go. Focus on me and no one else.
Jay Kingston is the lovely Carol Merrill.
There we go.
Babylon 5.
5.
Is that Ivanova?
That's Ivanova.
That's Ivanova.
We also have Marcus right next door.
Marcus.
All
He's
right.
dead.
He's dead, Jim.
He gave so that she
Dead,
could.
but he still makes a damn good toy.
Yeah.
And we won't say what
And
he's
that's a
gonna do to
panel
them
from
later.
where?
He makes a better ashtray now, I think.
Where is that from?
This is from Evil Ernie. I forget what series it is, but this is a sign. This page is signed by inker Jason Moore.
All right.
Okay.
Pencils by Kyle Hotz.
He
I
will
believe
be
I
soon.
pronounced that right.
Okay.
Nice work, Mike, for picking that up.
All right. If you want to contact us at the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club, you might see some of these flyers in the toy stores and comic book shops and so forth. Take a look. You can contact us at Rhode Island Science Fiction Club, Post
Hi,
Office,
it's me, Harlan Ellison.
Post Office Box 9517, Warwick, Rhode Island 02889, or you can email us if you want to catch the email address right below me here. It's sci-fi journal at CompuServe.com.
Oh, forget ever being
This
taken
show-
seriously
There we
again.
go. This show's going to L, you realize that.
Now you know why I've been gone for 3 months.
Exactly.
I've been in rehab.
Please, we get together on a monthly basis. If you're at least 18 years old, you're more than welcome to join us for different activities.
Our meetings are sort of like this, but a
Yeah.
lot more organized.
We'll make sure Jay doesn't show up.
But it's his house.
Oh, that's forget. We really
What'd
do
you put in this thing anyway?
Yeah, something you took a sip of.
10% secret ingredient.
Is that it? Are we out of time yet? I'm not really sure.
Somebody help the set.
Who knows? Who knows? Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next show. Goodbye. Good luck.
Good
Bye.
Goodbye. Say
See
bye,
ya.
Jay.
Bye, Jay. So.